Well, this Thursday night, hundreds will be at the Eggs Heart Theater for a screening of a very impactful documentary. More than 50 years ago, Geraldo Rivera's TV expose revealed the horrific conditions and abuses at the Willowbrook State School on Staten Island. It was the largest institution of its kind in the country for people with disabilities. It shocked the nation and forever changed the treatment of people with disabilities across the country. Listen for a moment here.
There were a barrage of calls from New York State officials telling everyone that we had violated the privacy.
But there's no privacy anyway.
Everyone's spine stiffened and they said, we're gonna go with this story. It changed the world.
Now, to mark the historical significance, the New York State Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, in conjunction with OGS Media Services, has produced a documentary highlighting the importance of the lessons learned from Willowbrook, the positive changes made, and the path forward now. So here to talk about the documentary screening and the panel discussion that will follow is the Executive Director of the New York State Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, Vicky Hiffa. Vicky, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
There has been a lot of interest. People really do want to see this documentary. I know you've moved the location in the Egg to a larger theater, hundreds already attending. Why is it so important that people see this documentary?
Well, you know, Christina, we really always need to remember the past to protect the future. So there are many people, particularly younger generations, who have never heard about Willowbrook. So it's really important that they learn about what happened there so that history never repeats itself. And, you know, I would also say about our documentary that while we do show the horrific conditions at the institution and really focus on that dark period in our state's history, it's really also a celebration of inclusion for people with disabilities. And people need to be aware of how far we've come and never take that for granted.
There have been so many positive changes. Geraldo's expose really did expose the problems and really moved us away from institutionalizing people with developmental disabilities and all sorts of disabilities into a whole new world. And as you mentioned, they have come so far. Tell us just some of the positive changes that have happened since that time.
Sure, yeah, there have been many changes. First of all, certainly Willowbrook closed and all the other institutions across the state eventually closed. Yeah. And then there were several laws that were enacted to protect people with disabilities. One law in particular, the Education for All Handicapped Children's Act, allowed children with disabilities to finally be educated in public schools. So, you know, I think about, I have a son with autism who, you know, was able to go to public school. He was able to participate in all aspects of his community. But if he was born over 50 years ago, he would have had a very different life. So, you know, Geraldo's expose changed forever for the better, the disability system in this country.
It's amazing. In that clip that we saw, Geraldo is talking with his friend and really the first self-advocate, Bernard Carabello, who lived at Willowbrook for 15 years and then was able to go out on his own, tell the world about people with disabilities. He's going to be part of the panel discussion, right?
He will.
Who else will be part of it? Because this is obviously a part of it as well. After the screening, people get to talk about it and what we can do to keep improving.
Right. So we're so fortunate that we have people on our panel who really live the Willowbrook story. Bernard in particular, he is so inspirational. He was at Willowbrook actually from the age of 3 to 21.
Wow. And
then when he left Willowbrook, he went on to do great things. He became a civil rights activist for people with disabilities. And he founded the statewide Self-Advocacy Association of New York State. So he's so inspirational. So hearing from him firsthand will be so important. But we have also other amazing people on our panel. Dr. Mike Wilkins, he was the whistleblower, the doctor that worked there that contacted Geraldo to tell him, you know, to do a story on Willowbrook. So I think it's really important to see these people that live this story and for people to be aware that it really just takes a small group of committed individuals to change the world.
Can't wait to be a part of this.
Oh,
I'm honored to be able to moderate the panel discussion after. How can people attend
Well, they can go to our website. We do have tickets now. We were sold out, and we moved venues to the Hart Theater. So they can go to our website. It's at ddpc.ny.gov.
And we'll also have that on our website at news10.com. Vicki, appreciate you coming in. You know, one of the things that we'll be talking about is what we can do moving forward in terms of in the workforce, education,
Yes.
more advancements for people with developmental disabilities and all sorts of disabilities. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you for having me, Christina, and
Appreciate
thank
your
you for
time.
moderating on Thursday. We so appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to it very
Thank you.
much. Let's send it back to Ryan.